Hey Pioneers, today you're going to learn about the third angle in our angle unit, and they are vertical angles. Now, the key word we want to think of when we think about vertical angles is the word opposite. So let's talk about what opposite means. We're going to use our school hallway to get us started. So this is the 100s hallway, right when you come up the steps from the lower 100s to the upper 100s where all the Pioneer classes are. My classroom is on the right, and Mrs. Kohler's classroom, who's the math teacher on the West team, is right across from me or opposite from me. So my classroom and Mrs. Kohler's classroom are opposite of each other or across from each other. They are the same classroom, they're the same size and the same shape. They're just on opposite sides or across from each other of the hallway. Same goes for vertical angles. Angles are a pair of non-adjacent angles formed by the intersection of two straight lines. So in this picture here, I have two straight lines that are being intersected, which means they are crossing, line M and line M. And when they cross, they form four angles in total. Angle 1 and angle 2 are across from each other. They are across from each other on that point of intersection, making them vertical angles. Vertical angles are congruent, which means that they are equal to each other. So they're going to have the same angle measure. So since angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles, angle 1 and angle 2 are going to have the same measurement in degrees. Angle 3 and angle 4 are vertical angles with each other because they are across from each other, which also means they are congruent or they are equal to each other. They're going to have the same degree measure. So again, what we need to know about vertical angles is they are across from each other by two intersecting lines, and most importantly, they are equal to each other. Vertical angles have the same measure in degrees. Okay, so we're going to do some examples of finding the values of missing angles using the fact that vertical angles are equal to each other. So if we look in question 1 here, I have two lines that are intersecting. I have an angle that's labeled 101, and I have an angle that's labeled X. This 101 degree angle and angle X are vertical angles, which means they're equal to each other. So angle X is also going to equal 101 degrees. I don't even have to do any math there because vertical angles are equal to each other. So angle X has to equal 101 degrees. For number 2, again, I have two lines that are intersecting. I have angle X and this 40-degree angle. Angle X and this 40-degree angle are opposite or across from each other, which makes them vertical angles. That also tells me that these two angles are equal to each other. So angle X must also be equal to 40 degrees. Okay. Number 3, again, I have two lines intersecting. Angle X and this 107-degree angle are vertical angles because they are across or opposite of each other. So they're vertical angles, which means they must be equal. So angle X must also equal 107 degrees. Okay. Do another one. The 75-degree angle and angle X are vertical angles. They are across from each other or opposite of each other, making them vertical, which means they're equal. So if this angle equals 75 degrees, angle X must also equal 75 degrees as well. Okay, pretty straightforward. We don't even have to do any math yet. Okay, I'm going to skip down, look at number 7. So here I have a picture of two intersecting lines with four angles that are labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's important to point out that these numbers do not represent the degree measure. It's just how we're naming the angles. So it says, if the measure of angle 1 is 65 degrees, then what is the measure of angle 2? Okay, well, I know this angle 1 here has to be equal to 65 degrees. Well, I'm asking you to find the measure of angle 2. Well, angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles because they are across from each other on a pair of intersecting lines, which means they have to be equal to each other. So if angle 1 equals 65 degrees, angle 2 must also equal 65 degrees. All right, number 8, if the measure of angle 1 is 92 degrees, then what is the measure of angle 3? Well, I'm telling you angle 1 here has to equal 92 degrees. If we notice, angle 3 is angle 1's vertical angle because they are across from each other, which means they are also equal to each other. So angle 3 must also equal 92 degrees as well. Hey guys, you guys are now going to complete the vertical angles day 1 assignment. It looks almost identical to these notes in this video, so please refer to this video or the notes answer key to help you out. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out to me.